Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're here today with Unroaded. I I'm gonna be honest, I downloaded this game like 5 days ago and I've kind of forgotten what it is. So we'll just see what happens. Start. Clouds. Yes. Best way to open a cold open. That's what they call it. Oh, what's going on? Like oh. Sickness and death are blowing from the nauseous yellow sky. The light and ghostly clouds are frozen. As if time came to a halt where where there is no life. The vagrants hold on. The vagrant sits on the wall of a half-ruined fortress and tries not to look at the sick sky that evokes anguish and disturbance to the echo of mind, like the living can have. This guy must be the vagrant. There's no way out. Windows are crammed with boards, doors are buried into the earth for centuries. He is in no hurry to leave. Day, week, month, he sits, looks away, then time starts to lose meaning, disappears, until the wall begins to crumble. Sooner or later he will fall, so it better be on his own terms and not from the fault of the crumbling stone. He rises to step forward. The wind doesn't whistle in the ears, eyes don't water, the ground is approaching, but the heart does not beat in fear. Go away, I don't want you, I don't care. He falls to the dusty ground and crumbles like a bunch of bones, followed by the ringing sound of the armor, and then silence takes place. Slowly and indifferent, the vagrant sits down and begins to gather himself by the pieces. Wrist to forearm and hand to clavicle. Not a speck of blood to be seen. The vagrant creaks with his jaw. The war lasted for decades, and he was one of its many victims. The king's army started getting diminished. Commanders of both sides sympathized with the overworldly forces. While fallen warriors rose once again and charged into battle. They fought mindlessly, tirelessly, and yet the war saw its end. Or her soldiers haven't. Only the lifeless lands full of dead men remained. The vagrant fed the fire with the orders issued to him before the first battle. Threw out his helmet on which royal symbols once shined proudly, smeared in the risen clothes that were copying the colors of once native land. So this soldier guy has been trapped for a while and he's coming out and is doing his last mission. For having forgotten someone's bright face 100 years ago, for that now he feels nothing except sore bitterness for the nauseous yellow sky. The magic of death has turned this world into a masquerade. How was he like before? The vagrant doesn't remember. The last thing memory clings to is the name. He had a name once, short, proud sounding, simple and quite common, but it belonged to him. Name that no one needs. As well as the torn, trampled flags that were left behind, he doesn't have the strength to be the man he once was. He can still hold his sword with his hands, but not alone. No, no way. Loneliness is what drives him insane. It's not the fortress that no longer stands, not the lack of feelings, not the frozen time, but knowing himself, alone, like if he was the last. Where is everyone? Ours and others, no matter, if only they were here. With non-existent eyes, the vagrant observes the triumph of death at the desert's field spreading far away. He must find the answer. Ooh, scene change. The road stretches monotonously. The vagrant doesn't notice how the scenery changes. Abandoned settlements are passing by, and naked forests are greasing with the clouds. Time sinks in, spreads like a thick fog over his mind, muddled hours with days. He comes to life only when silhouettes appear on the way, figures of other men, dead men. The fights are not different from one another. They are sluggish, but they beat off seconds in the mind like thunder. Block, counterattack, again and again. Why do they attack? He always awaits and defends himself. He wants to see the life, half-forgotten word. It's so difficult to recognize it now. Only the mind will tell, only a lowered sword, only attempt to get to know each other. The dead men don't remember themselves. They charge into battle mindlessly, so the vagrant crumbles them to dust, hoping that he is freeing their souls. Then time freezes again, turning the path into a sequence of pictures. Black smoke splits the gloomy sky, and the vagrant follows it. He doesn't care about the way. Some part of him remembers the outlines of the hills. Its borders, he leaves his kingdom, his home, and these thoughts suddenly became meaningless. There are no borders now, and he won't recognize his home as well. He desperately tries to recall someone's bright face, and he can't. But does it mean anything now? Will the memories of happiness serve him well in this time, in this place? Will they give him a sense of time, or maybe they'll be the only thing that won't let him give up? You gotta trust those feelings, man. Vagrant doesn't know. No one can tell him what awaits ahead, so he asks his past for the strength. The tips of her lips rise. Is this a smile? He feels better. He continues the way, reflecting on how it was like before, and ignores the formidable clouds that gathered overhead. Coal ash is spreading in all directions. Twice burned land, he recalls, and looks at the new fire. Fire is dancing freely but sleepily. It stretches to the sky and settles, breathes to its full height, leans, burns clouds, and clings to the ground. Dead men are gathered around the fire. Nude, charred, they enter the scarlet flame and lie in the core of the hearth, one by one, slowly and impassively. Then they rise and leave the fire, sharing it with the rest. The vagrant breathes the ashes and doesn't feel the fire's warmness. The flesh burns and bubbles. No smell. Hello, buddy. Dead men notice the vagrant but don't stop. Only one of them still has a tongue left, and he tries to speak. Self-burners. Stand in line. His voice is dry. There is no sadness or pain in it, only indifference. The vagrant. What are you doing? Self-burners. Stand in line. We kill ourselves. We share the fire because there's no other one. We don't want to go anywhere. We don't want to look for another fire. After all, it is here. Even if it is small. I guess the fire could be a metaphor for like home. I guess, like you want to reflect on old memories. Some have already freed themselves, others burn themselves little by little to give others chance to die. What if the fire goes out? We need to share. Stand in line. No, I don't feel like standing in line. I am not looking for death. I'm looking for those who remain themselves. I want to talk like I did when I was alive, to remember myself and know what I live, to know that I live. You will have none of that. Have you ever tried? Stand in line or go away. You can come with me. Why do you need to stand here? Why do you need to stay here? Why burn yourselves if you still remember who you are? Go away. I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna let them do their thing. They are enjoying it. They want to be with the fire. Become the fire. Forget everything. Neither life or death are important as long as you have a goal. Their goal is to burn. No one can help them. Time flies by like a swift bird of prey and snatches seconds from life, along with the flesh. The vagrant feels older than he should. He doesn't like it. So he leaves. This narrator is kind of interesting. The ashes last for a long while. It extends up to 3 rising suns, which the vagrant hasn't noticed until now. Wrong spelling. Light and darkness used to be the same for him. Now he counts the days. At night, he decides to stop. He doesn't need to rest, but it makes the way easier. He looks at the stars and gives them names. Words are summoned up by themselves: bird, pearl, Virgo, shield, and smile, or smile. Morning leads him to a lifeless city. The fog winds over the thickets of a dry river. The vagrant raises his head with the hope of seeing a flag waving over the towers. Their silhouettes are still. He carefully invades the abode of calmness. Silence envelops the city. Only the sparse howling of the evil wind can be heard. This place is like an echo of a bygone time, and the vagrant decides to call it that way, echo. Perhaps when the city ends, the sadness that had settled in the heart will also disappear. Once this place brought people joy. Memories sneaked up like an annoying melody. He gives into it. It's deep. He remembers the loud conversations and the rushings. Wagon wheels are knocking along the crowded streets. The child steals an apple from the basket of the lady who's going home. She doesn't notice. She looks at the vagrant. Playful smile. The vagrant turns away only because someone is waiting for him at home. How can you call life to what he is living now? The vagrant wants to go home. Vagrant? Vagrant? I'm gonna call it vagrant even though it's not how it's. He stumbles over something, barely keeps himself away from falling. Lowering his gaze, he sees that a dead man is under some broken slabs that have blocked his way. The knee, raised from a footboard, slowly goes down. Why have you done this? The vagrant examines the face under the helmet. Neither skin or muscles can be seen, only bones. The dead man can't answer. Doesn't even move. Let's try and reach out to him. I want to help you. The vagrant doesn't have time to notice the dead man's hand rising. He swings and throws it at the stranger, his second hand. The vagrant dodges. Seek for the fire. It can bring the last death. He doesn't receive an answer. But the dead man rises, creaking his bones, and leaves. Alright, so people can't die here. That's interesting. So, like, people in the fire, they were trying to burn themselves and they couldn't. He couldn't die because he's been here hundreds of years. It's interesting. This man, he's like bones and he can't die. Perhaps to seek the fire. From the heart of the city, chants can be heard. The vagrant walks over the overgrown stone slabs and doesn't listen. So, if everyone can be alive, then, like, where is everybody? It's all in his head. Finds a chapel and steps inside with caution, examining the rotten wooden beams. The ceiling is still holding. How many prayers have these walls heard? How many of them God heard? Has anyone survived this war? A steady knock comes from somewhere. The vagrant follows it and finds himself in the chapel's basement. Ooh, that's not good, buddy. He sees three dead men. One stands against the wall and beats the stone with his head. His skull full of cracks. It looks like he's been doing this for a long time. That's not good. The other two sit beside him and watch. That's even worse. Hello, weirdos. Like zombies. Newbie. Another. Won't last. Toe. The dead man, who spoke to the second one, tears his little finger from his foot. Puts it on the barrel, where a hand is already placed. I think they mean pinky toe. Did they bet on the vagrant? Did they bet on the vagrant? Too soon. This one is still alive. There's a loud bang. The skull of the dead man who's beating his head against the wall finally cracks. Body falls limply to the ground, raising a heap of dust. The first dead man laughs hoarsely and takes the hand. Won again. You always bet on death. Because there can be no other outcome. You can. No one needs immortality. A faint is another search for immortality. Their strange dialogue suddenly stops. They turn to the newcomer. I am confused.
Say goodbye to the toe.
Already?
How long have you been wandering?
With the delay, the vagrant realizes that the last phrase was addressed to him. He doesn't move. Looking at these odd dead men, he starts thinking about what to answer. Concisious. For the first time, conscious. Conscious for the first time, conscious. I don't remember the time. What are you playing?
Making bets.
We are making bets. Everyone is dying. There are no losers in this game. When I have spare bones, I bet on life.
And then I get new bones. And what are you doing?
It's not easy to get used to their speech. They seem to dictate only the meaning of their thoughts. I'm looking for someone like me to save myself from madness.
Madness awaits us all. Lay. Nothing more is needed. We won't become alive. We won't regain our feelings. We'll never have love again.
Wait, are we all dead? Or is this like a netherworld sort of thing?
No one needs this kind of existence.
There is no meaning. I thought you were the positive. You were the negative. Therefore, seek for the last death. Or play. Okay, so fire is the only way out. Or is it? I'm gonna argue with them. Because they seem interesting. I will find my own meaning. And if it disappoints me, I'll look for another one. There you go. That's the right way. Because life is an opportunity to make a choice. I won't deny my life as long as I remember who I am. But you don't. After listening to him, the dead man remains silent for a long time. And then the second one takes his little finger back. You don't bet on life.
Lucky.
Oh, they were betting on whether I would choose death, as in the fire, or like life. Okay. Lucky.
Boring.
They really had bet on him. The disturbed dust lazily hovers over the stone. In the inanimate silence, peals mumbling mixed with the sigh of one of the debaters. The second one snorts as if in response. Dead men don't need to breathe. These are feelings. They have them, they don't understand. Do you remember your names?
We all have no past. Now no one has a name. Names no longer needed.
I'm gonna name them. You guys need names. Give you purpose. I need so I can distinguish you. Maybe Ben and Bean. Okay.
Who is Ben and who is Bean? I like Ben.
And I am Bean. The second one turns towards the vagrant. And who will you be? And who will be you? Bean has changed his name to Bean.
The vagrant.
I just named myself.
Such a hypocrisy. Saddled us with names, refuses to take one.
No, wait. The vagrant. Ben, Bean, and the vagrant.
Fine.
The dead men get distracted by their previous victim. Who will overgrown with moss faster, he or his clothes?
Aye. If we bet on those who truly are dead. Let's get out of here. Seek for others.
Are they gonna join my party? Da 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 da.
Is vagrant with us? No, thinks too much. Will spoil the game.
But we'll meet again.
If you won't die.
Friends? They look at him again. I'll nod. Vagrant nods. Perhaps someday their paths will converge, and he won't mind having friends. even though he doesn't understand what that word means. Oh, that's sad. He hopes these two will help him find out one day. The three leave the basement and their paths diverge. The debaters are going away from the sun. They no longer need the city. The vagrant continues his way to the ruined steps. There, where is no one else, nothing happens. Stone walls dissolve the gray world in grayness. Stone walls dissolve the world in grayness. When they end, only the sky remains in the same gray. Men, the mad dead men are getting bigger. They attack without asking questions. Their hands never tremble, their faces are always unreadable. The vagrant doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to save them either. He doesn't care what the reason for their madness, the magic of death, or a weak mind that didn't accept the new existence. They have no hope of salvation. Or he wants to think that way. I'm so confused. Where once was a heart hurts with heartache. Well, that's deep. He gets tired of timelessness. When no one is around, the body feels cumbersome. The mind is unnecessary, and existence itself is like a joke of an evil god. Why did you lock me up in empty infinity? He does not receive a response. He knows that he won't get it by asking someone inside himself. Yearning insensibly turns into anger. The vagrant gets angry at the silence, at the thoughtless, who are dressed in the same armor as he, and quickly gets irritated when he is forced to fight again. Soon he begins to attack first. Oh no, this isn't good. Each new battle takes him more than the previous one. Anger starts to become the goal. He is looking for rivals. This is not good. He wants to tear apart the armor, cut the tendons, smash the bones. He's eager to watch the last moment of someone else's existence, how the weapon falls from the hands of the defeated enemy. One day he loses. Uh-oh. The last death does not come, because the other dead men don't think about crushing the enemy into dust, leaving him behind when he stops moving. Lucky man. The sun runs endlessly across the sky. The vagrant lies in the faded grass, confusing himself with the dead. Stars are born in the dark and die with the forthcoming light. Why is the sun doing this? Why kill the stars? Thoughts breaking off, turning to something unclear. At the place of the heart, it aches. If you guys understand this, please leave a comment because I'm so confused. Feelings return to him with the memory of the war during his lifetime. The vagrant gives in to them. He screams to the sky, to the midnight, and then he gets bored. He forces himself to get up and move on. Picks up the sword, but ceases to fight, falling when attacked, waiting, and continues on his way. He's already far from the place of his own death, and even farther from home. Okay, that's important. So, that other place where he was, I guess he died? When will he find what he's looking for? The sun is timed to set as many times as the vagrant has markings on his sword sheath, which were made, apparently, when he was still alive. It's almost completely covered. Okay, so I think he's dead, obviously, and this is kind of the afterlife. And so people have gone insane. And time is kind of weird here. They are not enough. The vagrant starts recounting. Once again. Ooh. The earth changes its color, it grows with a stone, so it's spring. Trampled paths wander through a maze of rocks and find their end among the lights. Wrecks of armor lying around, and is this a camp? 5 figures in black armor sit around the fire. Helmets are covering their faces, and skulls are scratched on their shields. Humans? No, it cannot be. The vagrant realizes that he is correct. The knights do not move, do not breathe. They stare into the fire, fascinated, as if nothing else is surrounding them. Bonfire makes dying logs sing, and they sing almost invitingly. Or is it just a delusion? The twiddle of the wind. The vagrant doesn't have time to move slightly forward towards the knights, for one of them turns his head. He's cool. A new executioner has visited us. His voice is low humming, more alive than of those vagrant has met so far. There's something deranged about it. I got the good voice then. Without waiting for the newcomer's answer, another knight asked doubtfully,
Or a new victim? No, look at him. Death has no power over him.
Frozen, look at the vagrant.
Will you join us in our noble goal?
Who are you, and what is your goal?
We are the executioners. Life has rejected us, so we have rejected all living things.
Oh, the Grand Executioner, alright.
When the First War occurred, our time was taken by countless battles. When the Second War occurred, we were called out from the realm of the dead to kill again. There was no one left. We were abandoned.
You speak of 2 wars. I only know of one.
Twice burned the land.
Oh, it's true.
The first time, the fault of our own foolishness.
The second,
of our despair. But nothing would have happened if it weren't for that necromancer. He tricked the 2 kingdoms with intricacies and intrigues to see the war happen. He came to both kings and offered death magic. The armies were exhausted and the lands poor. The Lord accepted his help.
Who is the necromancer?
We do not know. We are seeking. Revenge will not take long. The necromancer must pay. In pursuit of him, we will destroy all living things.
Because war is what he created us for. Okay, so everyone who's dead has been brought back to life by the necromancer. Okay, the Second War, but the Second War, they killed all the living humans. That means I must be the necromancer. Alright, this is interesting.
Our king is forgotten. Our children lie in graves, the fools and cowards who fled from death to fire. We will not allow ourselves to fall so low. Pain is our strength. When we burn the necromancer, we will burn this world, so that there will be no more stupidity, so that there will be no more despair. Life is a mistake.
Okay, Thanos, sure. I'm gonna go with it isn't. Just because. Life is not a mistake. The knights are silent. They are not arguing. They have their own truth. How many years have they been guarding it? For them, it's more important than their souls. Reflections of fire dance on the black steel of their armor, diverting attention from the heavy stairs. What do they need the fire for? Don't they despise it? Maybe this is why they huddled around the bonfire as if they were still alive. They are testing their will, their spirit. After all, fire can provide peace, everything that all the dead men actually need.
If you are not with us,
Leave.
you must burn.
I'm gonna go on my own way. Despair devours from within. The vagrant turns away and silently leaves. Foothills follows him with scarlet clouds. This place is too peaceful. The wind walks freely and carefree. It doesn't bluster or howls, only touches the grass gently and retreats to the sky as if it is afraid to do harm. Clouds gather and crumble as white dust. And when night falls, jumbles with the stars.
We're just getting more comfortable.
I'm sorry. Markings on the sheath become useless. Why time, if all there is in its way? Time is required by the living ones to remember about death. Instead of thinking about the days, Vagrant thinks about the silence of the morning, or the beauty of the sun at the sunset, and about how he tried to name the stars once. He returns to them imperceptibly. One day he catches himself in thoughts. Even from here you can see them: bird, pearl, Virgo, shield, and smile. Bird, pearl, Virgo, shield, and smile. The image appears in front of him clearly than ever before. He focuses on the memories. This is something very important. He must remember. A bird on the emblem of family tree. Same one on a green robe. Pearls glisten on the neck. Auburn hair flows over strong shoulders. Steel in the glances of gray eyes, but his smile illuminates the face, like that she was a warrior from distant wild lands. Then the war began. Oh no. She fought under enemy banners. Oh no. He did not run away, even though he wanted to do that more than anything else. Every day he prayed to the gods that not to meet her on the battlefield. They did not hear his prayers. Oh no. That day he killed her. Time stood still. On the same day, he allowed himself to be killed. No. This is suppressing. And rose up, already without memory. Vagrant covers his face with his hands as if he wanted to cry. For a long time, sits in silence. There is a cave near the road. There, after the precipice, is nothing. Only a naked bottom that remained due to a dried up river. At the edge of the cape, boulders are overgrown with Cornelio moss. It takes time for the graver to notice a figure in the gray-yellow robe. Someone is sitting on the precipice with his head bowed. The vagrant walks closer and sits next to the stranger. His legs are dangling into the precipice. He doesn't speak until he is noticed. You look very interesting. Like you. Oh, I've lost myself in thought. It becomes possible to realize that this is a dead man due to the finger bones that peek out from the holy gloves. His face is hidden behind a mask, and multi-layered clothing wraps his entire body. Something in him reveals that he is a good fighter. Vagrant doesn't know what it is exactly, and that the feeling doesn't leave him. It's better not to meet with this one in an open battle. Who are you? The vagrant. So you don't remember your name too? What should I call you? Others called me a philosopher. I guess you can too. Calmness comes from within, comes from him. It is not so cold and indifferent compared to all the other dead men who the vagrant had met so far, but as if no one is there. How can it be? The vagrant reaches his hand slowly so that the stranger doesn't get frightened and touches his shoulder. Dead bones cannot transmit feelings, but the hand hits an obstacle. Not a vision after all. Yeah, I was thinking that. The stranger doesn't react to the gesture. What are you doing here? Nothing. How is that? I'm thinking. This is inaction for the world of the dead. What are you thinking about? About water, earth, sky. What else can you think about while being dead? About your grief? That is a one-way ticket to oblivion. Why are you wearing a mask? So many questions. Aren't you a philosopher? That's your job. My face has been eaten away by death and time. Those who remain unconscious do not need to see it. Wind sings in a hollow. The philosopher responds to its song with a quiet humming. An awkward melody brings unwanted memories. This is an anthem. And something in this humming sounds terribly familiar. You remember it too, yes? I'm gonna be honest with him. I remember, although I do not know why. Behind the cold mask, the vagrant feels a smile. You all remember it. There are no names, no past. Each one of you remembers the anthem. You speak as if you are not one of us. I am not one of you. Not really. It was not the necromancer's actions that caused my curse. I remember everything. He does. Okay, good. So you remember why the war started? Who we were, and why did we fight? Yes. Tell me. When the sea is depleted, a lot of no man's land appeared. Kings of the two largest empires were constantly engaged in long negotiations about how to divide the new lands. Nobody wanted to make concessions. I wish I could say that the rumors led the necromancer to the lords, that it was his evil tongue that provoked this first war, followed by another one. Isn't he guilty for the fate of the dead man wandering everywhere? He is just as guilty as the kings. Everyone who was hoping to prevent war, but at the very first chance, they grabbed hold of lies and intrigues. After fulfilling his part of the deal, the necromancer gave an advantage to one side by resurrecting their fallen warriors. When they refused to satisfy his demands, he did the same for their enemies. Ah! His demands were again not satisfied, so he left and let everyone to kill each other. Why did they just pay him? The philosopher laughs quietly. What was that he demanded? Yeah. I don't know. Whatever it was, it could not justify 2 wars. You would have only won if he hadn't intervened. And you wouldn't be here now. And where am I? On the way to the necromancer. What? You did not notice that you always go forward, as if something is calling you to move on without you realizing where to? But you do know something is waiting for you beyond the sun. The vagrant remembers a maiden with a shield dying on his hands. His thoughts are empty. He doesn't hear the song, only his grief. My love. He confesses. No. And yet you follow his call. He sings to you. He sings to everyone. He summons the remaining stray dead to mend to himself. He wants to fix what he has done. By killing all of us? Yes. The philosopher laughs again, and the frigate becomes scared for a moment. He managed to forget this feeling, fear, and didn't recall about his existence since he realized he was dead. However, it was not death that scared him. The one who sows death regrets his wrongdoings. All of this is hard to accept. I understand. It is so sweet to believe that your goals are noble. The one pure evil is to blame for everything. The reality is always more prosaic. How do you know so much? I was his friend. Oh no. Silence comes, and it lasts for many days. Under the vagrant's bony knees, flowers get the time to grow. At some moment, shattered skulls and fragments of black armor fly into the precipice. The vagrant recognizes the executioners in them, those who had sworn to kill the necromancer and destroy all living things. By the hands of the philosopher, they found peace. I was his friend. Vagrant doesn't ask anything. Everyone wants to save something. He began his journey in search of others. He wanted to talk, listen, and feel. Now the philosopher is beside him, and time belongs to them. Vagrant talks about what happened. About how he refused to die in the fire. How he gave names to the 2 conscious dead men. After hearing the executioners refused to give up. He doesn't face approval or dispraise, so he feels relieved. The philosopher tells him about the cemeteries that have turned into flower fields, with the music of silence above the stars. Living ones have bodies and feelings. You do not need a meaning. What about the dead? Is this life worthy of pursuing? So many reflections, opinions, and words, the philosopher asks questions which the vagrant does not know the answers to. One thing is clear for both of them. The necromancer will not back down. This means that no one will have the opportunity to find the answers to these questions. Only when the vagrant notices the rust on his armor does he realizes that years have passed. Jesus Christ. He and the philosopher get to know each other too well. The moment of departure arrives. Getting used to loneliness again is not so difficult because the vagrant is calm. He preserves this calmness and carries it with him to the rest of the way. Going down the hole that frowns under the weak sun, the vagrant finds a deep hole. Going down the hollow, sorry. The tunnel leads to some caves left by a long-dead underground creature. He finds the large bones and almost rejoices that he doesn't have to fight them. The tunnels are damp and the wind hollows within. Moisture settles on the dark armor. The living ones couldn't breathe here with ease. Light is being replaced by darkness, and each step spreads an echo. Does that mean I am dead? No need to get used to the dark. The vagrant listens. Listening to his footsteps, droplets that crash upon hitting the stone. A song. It beckons him almost imperceptibly. This is an anthem. Someone's yearning. Lost days, ruined fates, no regrets, no repentance, but I want to fix it. Closer and closer. It will end soon. The caves cease with the basement of a fortress. Corpses lie everywhere. Stumps, bones, eyeless heads. The earth is black of the flesh that mingles with the mud. They too follow the call. The vagrant left the basement. Intentionally striding louder, he rattles with the armor and sends away fear. Give me the answers. The stranger's presence originates a wave of warmth. The necromancer is living flesh, the heat of breathing, and the smell of blood. His head is covered with a black cloth. Dressed tails are dragged around the ground, ragged and full of holes. He speaks, but does not look at the vagrant. Always have to wait so long. Tired. I'm so tired. He is blind. The hall that surrounds them is almost empty. The necromancer isn't afraid to fall. He feels the vagrant and unhesitatingly walks toward him, as if he was sighted. The vagrant retreats far enough to make it clear that it is not his intention to fight. The necromancer takes a sharp breath and freezes. The song's over. The vagrant doesn't feel anything. He only sees the confusion of the old man in front of him. You are not the first. There were others? Too many. You killed them all. Yes. Why? Why? That's what it should be. I had to. The vagrant feels the approaching anger. Why all of this for? Why did you help the war to continue after the death of its warriors? Why did so many desperately wanted... What did you so desperately want from the kings? You agreed to condemn so many souls to eternal damnation. You wouldn't understand. Tell me! Because of these wars, my love perished. You have to tell me. Sigh with his pleasure, the necromancer creaks with his teeth. The kings promised me their best people. Not for the army. I wanted to save scientists, thinkers, gifted masters, all those who can change this world, so that they could become immortal, like one friend of mine, so that they could change others the way he changed me. He's talking about me, or is he talking about the philosopher? I wanted to give them eternity. Oh yeah, it's definitely me then. No one followed me. Even if they wanted to, they couldn't. Most joined the ranks of soldiers. Others were imprisoned by the kings and kept under surveillance. Why do you kill all the dead men? After all, those who you need may be among them. Now they are madmen. There's no one to save. You can't know for sure. You're doing the wrong things. It is not for you to judge me. The vagrant feels like he is choking. He can't find the words. The necromancer gently bows his head. It doesn't matter now. The same fate is waiting for you, vagrant. His voice is soaked with indifference. You have met many who still remember themselves.
You could have stayed with them. Goal would be achieved, but you rejected everyone. Rejected because it is not loneliness that is your curse. You want to live again, retrieve your body back, return to those you loved. It will not happen. Bow down before me, for you are only an outlived memory. Jesus Christ, you are cruel. The necromancer raises his skinny head, perhaps preparing to cast a spell. The song, without words and without music, is playing the vagrant's head. Again, he freezes. The stars become brighter, the light illuminate the fortress like the sun. The living ones would be blinded, but the vagrant feels warm. He sees black threads approaching him, the embodiment of the song, and ignores it. So warm. Light envelops, forces to drop the fear and all the thoughts. Only calmness remains. What did the vagrant achieve? Who did he become? And did he become someone? It doesn't matter now. He wakes up. Her bright eyes are smiling. Her touch is soft. He kisses her, then rises lazily, rubbing his eyes. From outside of the window there are sleepy talks and clatter. The streets are flooded with the light of the morning sun. Water glitters in the square's fountain. So peaceful that it is hard to believe. Where does it come from? The strange feeling of heaviness after a lost battle. It does not matter. Seeming like it was a bad dream that had disappeared from memory. It's for the best. In the garrison, soldiers and friends are waiting for him. He is happy. While in the silence, in the darkness of an abandoned fortress, a blind man leads a weak-willed dead man away. The end. This is really deep. Like, deep. It's so interesting. I'm still confused on like half of this stuff, but very good. Very, very good. For 1.1, that's very good. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. You probably didn't watch this all the way through and probably just skipped to the end when you got bored, but thank you. Thank you so much for watching this. It really means a lot. And if you have anything interesting that you pointed out or I missed, please leave a comment down in the description. Continue on to the next video.